So Hello Islands is a DMC based in Mauritius. And so we have been around in various forms for a number of years, but we're a new company, but we've sort of risen out of the ashes of a long-standing company which finished up due to COVID. So of course, entry requirements. Everyone wants to know about entry requirements at the moment. So the good news is that basically a lot of the entry requirements have been dropped. So the pre-arrival PCR has now been dropped. That was as of, I think it was Monday, maybe Sunday. There you go. Change came into effect actually just last week on the 12th of March. So you don't have to have, as long as you're fully vaccinated, you don't have to present a negative PCR test within 72 hours before arrival. What you do have to do is an antigen test when you arrive at your hotel. The cost for that is minimal. It's like about the equivalent of about £10. If you are staying in a private residence, like a villa or a lodge or something, you will get actually that antigen test is done free of charge at the airport for you. If you're an unvaccinated traveller, you do still have to self-isolate, but that is no longer 14 days, it's now 7 days with a PCR. But for anyone who is fully vaccinated, you've got no problems at all, essentially. So that's obviously really, really good news. So on to our main information. So we are a DMC. We're really, really well established in Mauritius. We have our own online booking system, which I'll come to in a minute. We service lots of FIT clients, but we also do lots of MICE. We also do lots of companion itineraries with our neighbouring islands. And I will come on to a bit more detail around those things in a minute. So a really, really good thing for us is our B2B online booking engine. And I think I am right in saying that there are virtually no other Mauritian-based DMCs who can offer this. So some other people do have an online B2B booking platform, but it's not, as far as I understand, it's not 24/7 and it's not always instant confirmation. Whereas we have some of our hotels in there, we have transfers in there, we have excursions loaded in, and it's brand new. It only just started in January. So we are adding more and more content into it as it goes along. And some of the great stuff around it is, like I say, it's instant confirmation. You can see the address for it there. It's b2b.helloislands.mu, and anyone can register for that. So you can register for it if you just want to have a play around with it and have a look at it. But if you wanted to then start making bookings, you'd have to talk to us to get set up essentially to make bookings. But anyone can look at it really. The other really good thing around it is that it has the facility for it to be integrated with XML and API as well. So if you are an operator who wants to plug it in, that's entirely possible as well. If I go on to our next slide, oh, sorry, I went a bit fast there. So all the kinds of things we can do for you. We can do a lot of what we do, for example, is airport services. We have a team of 12 who meet you at the airport. We have our own desk in the airport. If you are an operator that wants to be overbranded, we can overbrand as you at the airport. We have hosts and hostesses and porters all based there. We also have parking spots that are specifically held for us and are much closer than other parking spots, so there's not a long walk for your customers when they arrive. We also do lots of transfers, so we can do standard, group transfer. We can do just a basic economy one, but we can do luxury, so we do Mercedes, we do BMWs. We can even do helicopter transfers if you have somebody who wants to land on a helipad somewhere on the island. We have lots and lots and lots of accommodation partners. We have lots of excursions, some of which I'll come to in a little bit to show you some examples. And our guest services are really, really good in that we call them island hosts. They are essentially your concierge service on the ground 24/7. And so rather than customers having a problem and messaging you in the middle of the night, they can speak to any of the island hosts 24/7. They can contact them via WhatsApp, they can contact them via email, and they will get a response within the hour, if not 30 minutes. Another thing that is a really good differentiator for us at Hello Islands is the number of itineraries we do that are not just Mauritius, but that will also include Reunion and Rodrigues Island. So if you know the geography, Mauritius is in the middle and Reunion's on one side, Rodrigues is on the other. Reunion Island in particular is really, really interesting because it's much more where, like, Mauritius is more what you think of when you think of Maldives, like very typically Indian Ocean, honeymoon, romance, all that kind of stuff. Reunion is much more almost like a sort of Costa Rica kind of island. So it's much wilder. It's people go and do lots of wildlife there. There's an active volcano there. So it's really, really different. And it's a really nice thing to, as a differentiator, to offer to customers to say, well, rather than just going to Mauritius for 10 days, why don't you do 3 days in Reunion and then a week relaxing in Mauritius? So we can organize all of that for you. We have a sister company based on Reunion, and we can also include Rodrigues as well in itineraries. So we do lots and lots and lots of different excursions for customers, and those excursions range from small groups to individual, whatever your customer wants, essentially. A lot of things we do, you know, some of the typical Mauritian kind of things we do are we do lots of wildlife excursions. We do, of course, we do catamaran cruises to eel or surf. We do surfing, we do hiking, we do scuba diving. And then I've just got there a few examples of our best seller excursions. So number one is the tour of Wild Southwest. So that includes going to Chamarel, which is a famous village, and it's famous because it's very picturesque. You can have great food there. Or it's also really famous because in the surrounding coffee plantations, it's also got a big rum distillery there. It's got waterfalls. It's got national park there, and it's got a dormant volcano as well. So that's our most popular. Number two is our Mauritius a la carte, which is essentially you get a chauffeur-driven tour for the day, and you decide that itinerary with your driver in advance. So your driver will take you anywhere you want. We'll plot out an itinerary with you, and we'll also act as your tour guide, and it's completely private. And then number three, like I say, you can't come to Mauritius without doing a catamaran cruise to Eel or Surf, which is an island just off Mauritius, beautiful white sands. You know, you'll see the dolphins, you'll see everything. So it's beautiful. In terms of some of the other activities we do, we can do skydiving. Like we've got an image up here. We've got an image here of our food market street tours, and that one there off the top of my head is an image from Port Louis, the capital, and we can do little village street food tours, or we can do the city. We also do lots and lots of excursions on electric bikes, so it makes it a bit easier obviously for people. And but equally, you know, you can get places where the cars can't get. And again, we can do combination of meeting villagers, meeting locals who live in the villages, and also wildlife and coastal activity as well. Just to give you a few examples of some of the experiences we do, this one up here on the left is really popular. So this is a bubble lodge. So we have two bubble lodges. We have one on a tea plantation in the north of the island. We have one in Chamarel by the national park, and it's you often get couples booking it, you often get honeymoon couples book it, completely private, come and stay for the night, sleep under the stars, completely secluded. Here we've got a lodge where you can see, you know, the mountains, you know, just overlooking your lodge. You have like the mountains on one side, you have lakes and rivers on the other side. So again, it's almost like a get away from it for a couple of days kind of experience. We can do sort of luxury tents as well, so not like a tent like you would have gone with your parents in, you know, to the Lake District, much more luxurious than that. We can do several day catamaran cruise, 2, 3, 4, 5 day catamaran cruises around Mauritius, where you would stop around Mauritius. This is an image of booking a private beach rental on Chamarel, for example. And then we have loads and loads of self-catering options. So, you know, the private villas, the self-catering options, they've become much, much more popular since COVID. So people aren't just staying on resorts in Mauritius like they were once. And the self-catering options and the villas come in a range of pricing. So you can do, you know, real budget economy, but you can also do ones with butler service. You can, you know, you don't have to do it all yourself, essentially. This is just a range of the kind of partners we work with on the island. But like I say, we have a really, really comprehensive list of all of the hotel chains, really, that we work with on Mauritius, and we have really good rates with all of them. And then this here is just an example of an itinerary that we might put together for a client. So for example, you've got 5 nights staying in the 5-star Radisson Blu Azori Resort and Spa. Then you could go quad biking, and then you could stay in one of these chalets away from it all in Chamarel. So, you know, a bit of everything, a bit of luxury, a bit of wildlife, and then a bit of nature and away from it all as well, if you like. And that is me out of time, essentially. So you can contact the Hello Islands team directly in Mauritius, but like I say, you can also drop me a line. You know, again, it's matt@slcrepresentation.com. I'm always here to help you. I would advise you have a look at our B2B booking platform, get a feel for it. Any questions you've got, give me a shout. And I'm more than happy to set up a longer session for you, talk you through what Hello Islands